friends. Today I have two awesome Halloween crafts to share with you. They're both really fast and dirty. I get a ton of compliments on both of these. The first are my bats. I love bats. They are really cool little creatures. They're so fragile, and yet like they do so much. And their wings are like paper thin, and they're pollinators, and they're just so cool. And like, I've just always thought the bats are the coolest. So I came up with these Halloween decorations, and I have created a template for y'all. It'll be available to download from my Patreon. And this has both of my different bat decorations that I have hanging up. For the bat craft, you only need a couple of things. Number one, a nice piece of black paper. I buy mine in the scrapbooking section at Michael's or whatever. The larger the better, because then you can fit more batty bats per paper. You need scissors, a pencil, and an X-Acto knife. And of course, my lovely template. First, you're gonna obviously cut out the template. Then you're going to take your little piece that you cut out and place it on your paper. Try arranging it different ways to fit as many as you can. You don't want to waste paper because it is relatively expensive. You can also probably help yourself out by doing a combination of the different bats all on one paper. Yeah, just figure it out. Play with it until you think you've figured out the best way to maximize your space. The hanging bats are pretty simple. All you do is cut them out, trace them, and then you're gonna hang them up on the wall. They're obviously meant to look like silhouettes, so you can just leave them all black like mine are, or I sketched on a little face there for you. You could put that on. The way that I would do it is I would do the fangs, and then I would do this all in white, and then I would go back in with black and do the pupil line. Just really simple. The steeper the angle of the top will be your difference in spooky or cute. If you want it to be cute, you want it to be more rounded. If you want it to be scary, then you put it at more of an angle, like an angry eyebrow. So that's that. And then you just hang them up. I have two different sizes. And another thing that I would recommend is having some of them flipped one way or the other, because as you can see, the shoulders are different. So if they're all totally identical, it just doesn't look as good. So mix up the different sizes, and then also have some flipped in different directions. That way it just has some variance and it looks a little bit more natural. For the flying bat, after you trace everything out and put it on your paper, you're going to need to grab an X-Acto knife. Shing! Really happy I didn't stab myself in the eyeball there. And just something safe for you to be able to cut on. If you do this right, you're not going to be damaging your work surface, because you don't even want to slice all the way through the paper, but accidents happen. So just in case, don't do this on grandma's heirloom dining room table. Okay, so we have our freshly traced out bat. You want to just go ahead lightly around the edges and make sure that you don't have any pencil marks. Careful though, because you just want to be really gentle. Erasers can mess up paper. So we're going to look at the template here, and you can see where the score marks need to go. So we're just going to really lightly trace those onto here as a guide. Very carefully with your X-Acto knife, we're going to gently score the paper along the lines. Then where you scored it, you're going to gently crease it in alternating directions, because we score along the back. Then you just take little donuts and put 2 on each bat, and voila! Cool, so on to the next one. This is one of my all-time favorites because it's super easy and it looks great. Ting! We have little candles made of toilet paper rolls, hot glue, and spray paint. And these little LED tea light candles from the dollar store, 2 for $1. To begin this project, the first thing you have to do is save up your toilet paper rolls. You can also use paper towel rolls, which I recommend doing so that you can have candles of different heights. You can use the insides of wrapping paper. You can use all kinds of stuff. If you really want to make this happen quickly, ask your family or your nearby neighbors or friends or whatever to start saving their toilet paper rolls for you. If you're worried about COVID, you can always let them sit for a couple of days before you bring them into your home, set them out on your porch or whatever. It's a really good way of making a ton of these candles. So you need your toilet paper rolls, you need your LED tea lights, hot glue, and you use a lot of hot glue, so make sure you have a lot of it ready to use. And you need spray paint. You at least need a cream color. I've tried making these candles. I tried doing a black one. It didn't really turn out. So cream is what I've found to be the best. And then you can add white. So if you have cream, then you can add white spray paint. The candles that I've been using now for 2 years are literally just up close. You can see that they're toilet paper rolls, and you can see there's some, right there is a hot spot because I didn't know how to spray paint yet. But from far away, they look awesome. They look really good, just sitting on your mantle or in your windows. And you can leave these out for Halloween and through Christmas because they're just festive little candles. All right, let's get started. Step 1, toilet paper roll. Check to make sure that it fits. It should fit. Time to get gluing. Okay, so this is gonna work the best if you let your glue gun get really, really hot. I literally forgot all about mine, so it is super hot. Make sure you have plenty of hot glue on standby where you can grab it really easily. We're going to put a rim of hot glue along the inside because we need the candle to sit inside. Eyeball this, you can figure out how wide the candle is in comparison to your hot glue gun. So for mine, it goes right up to the blue. So I know if I just put it right there and go all the way around, we'll create a little ledge. And you want to let it dry and then go around 2 or 3 times. It doesn't really matter if it's a super straight line. It just has to catch it. Get those little stringies. And you can put even more glue on. This was 1 whole glue stick for this candle, so put on as much as you want, but I would probably not do less than that, otherwise it'll just look kind of bad. It's not laying flat on the top. Go in with the hot part of the glue gun and kind of smooth it over. That way it looks like wax. Grab a piece of paper. Preferably cream colored. And you're going to trace the size of your candle. And we're going to add some tabs. Go ahead and cut this out. Fold along this edge. put a little bit of glue on the outside of all of these tabs. And then I'm just grabbing the tabs and folding them up. The bottom is optional. It will give it a little bit more stability, but also if you're going to be hanging it for a floating candle, you want to have something covering up the bottom. Once your hot glue is totally dry and your bottom is on nice and secure, you're gonna bring it outside so you can spray paint it. Whatever spray paint you want, make sure you shake it up really, really well. When you're painting, we're just gonna do quick little passes. It's better to do multiple thin coats than one big fat coat that ends up dripping. Okay, so this thing is finally dry. It took like forever. I don't know why it took so long. It's still kind of sticky, but look, it looks really good, right? And then with the candle inside, wait for it. Look at that. Looks awesome, right? Now, if you want to make a floating candle, as we've prepared the bottom on this one, there's two ways you can do it. Now, this roll is a little thicker. I'm not sure it was given to me by family. It's really, I don't know what it is, but it's not a toilet paper roll, which, you know, you can crush very easily. This will work with a toilet paper roll, and I'll do it with one of my candles that made it with a toilet paper roll. If you want it to float, you're going to need fishing line and a couple needles. You really should only need one. And then obviously scissors. So you're going to thread your needle. Ta-da. So thread it, but you don't need to tie it off. So remember, this is for if we're doing it with a toilet paper roll. So you have your threaded needle, you about a third of the way from the top, so like underneath the rim, you're going to, and I would go in right by a piece of the hot glue. You're just gonna take your needle through and then just try to come through evenly on the other side. Ah, oh no. Here's what you can do. Poke it on the outside, poke the hole, and then thread it through. We poked our hole. Now, this could be solved if you just got a really long needle, I guess. Got it. Oh my god. Don't drop it. Okay. So we got it through. So you're only going to pull through one piece of the thread. So get a hold of one and then pull your needle out. There you go. Don't lose your needle on the floor. I stepped on one yesterday. It was not fun. And then all you will do is tie it off. And remember, you'll do this with fishing line, so you won't be able to see it. I don't have any fishing line, and I want you to see what I'm talking about. So you'll tie it off like that, and then you can get it so it'll hang evenly. And then just put in your little light. So the second way that you can make these candles float is with masking tape. And I think this is gonna work a lot easier. So again, you'll take your fishing line, So you have one long piece of thread, and you're gonna get 2 pieces of masking tape. You can also do this with hot glue. When you are putting the ring in, you could lay down your fishing line, and then the fishing line would be attached to the ring. That's probably the best way to ensure that nothing is gonna fall. But for our purposes, we're gonna try this. So I have 2 pieces of masking tape, and these things aren't really heavy, so I really think that this should hold. But I've never actually made the floating version of these. I just have them sitting on my shelf. And then on the opposite side, and it does need to be pretty much straight across from it, otherwise it'll tip, which I think is what I did wrong with the pin. And you're just taping it right on the inside rim so that it'll hang. Let's try it. Perfect. So with fishing line, you wouldn't be able to see it at all, and then you could hang it from like a curtain rod. You could put these over a curtain rod if you wanted. That wasn't me. I just dropped it. See, it's still working. You could hang it over a curtain rod. You could put little pins in the ceiling. I would not recommend taping it to the ceiling because I've done that and they will fall. But I think the masking tape is going to be the better way to do this because putting the pin through was really tedious and time consuming. So give this a try, y'all, and let me know how it goes. Enjoy your scrappy little crafts. And happy Halloween. These are my bats.